got Scott Bauer joining us, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Scott, welcome. I see you're dialed in on a couple stocks that are also on the move higher. I notice Draftkings, DKNG it is, and also talked to me, it looks like, I'm sorry, DNKG, talked to me about PENN Gaming as well, National Gaming. These are stocks that have been on the move. We took a look at them earlier in the week, and they're continuing to see a rally. Nice move higher amidst some of these sporting events that have been able to take place again, and, well, all of the, buzz around legal gambling as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. These are maybe the ultimate reopening stocks, Ben. And as long as sports continues to play, as long as we don't get any sort of major setback here, these stocks can and should continue to run. Let's first start with Draftkings. Over the last several weeks, as the stock has been rallying and rallying, they have just come up with deal after deal. The latest ones that were just announced the last couple days were with the football New York Giants and then a content deal with ESPN. So not only are they, the forefront of their industry, but man, oh man, everybody wants a piece of them. So that's why this thing has been rallying. And then PENN National Gaming, which, is very much in the same space. They're the largest regional casino operator. And in my opinion, still has lots of upside to go because, again, just like DraftKings, everybody wants a piece of them. And as states start passing more and more legalized sports gambling legislation, this company, this stock stands to benefit basically in front of anybody else.
Yeah, the states, it seems like, become more and more dependent on any revenue source that they can find. So this being one of them, I would imagine a good one for them. Let's talk about what could derail some of this momentum to the upside. I actually want to just correct myself. I said ticker symbol DNKG. It's right, DKNG, but and ticker symbol PENN. And again, as I mentioned, we've been watching these over the last week or so specifically. Let's talk a little bit about what could derail some of this momentum to the upside here. You're looking at a 6 1/3% move in PENN. I mean, ultimately, if the COVID virus started to get worse, I mean, I actually just heard yesterday of the baseball playoffs. They announced the bubble. Obviously, there's a little concerns related to that. I mean, they want to keep it as safe as possible. What if we started to hear of some of these events not being able to take place, I guess, basically? That would lose some of the lure and some of the attention that these names are getting. Would you agree?
Sure. No question that is front and center. That is the risk there. Basketball did a wonderful job, and they're in the home stretch. Yeah. Baseball, knock on wood, kind of same thing. Hockey, same thing. Football now is front and center for everybody.
Big time.
So week 1 is behind us. Let's see where we go. If we continue, if the league continues and cases are kept low, that is going to be really good for this stock. But, if things get pulled back in terms of the coronavirus and possibly shutting down, I would see temporary hits in PENN and DraftKings, but longer term, these stocks are absolutely just off to the races.
Yeah, football being one of the more closely watched. Contact sports, obviously, is going to be closely watched as well, related to the pandemic. Yep. And obviously, the casino's a long way. They've come from closures and empty tables to where they are right now. Let's talk a little bit about some of the names that are headed lower here today. I noticed we have eBay coming off in a big way. They gapped lower. They're down about 4% right now, taking out the $50 level, and a few names with them. Square, PayPal as well. What are you seeing here? This is an interesting move here ahead of, well, in addition to kind of a broader-based market sell-off that we're seeing, a lot of dust settling amidst some concerns and some uncertainties that still lie ahead, it sounds like.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And fintech in general has taken a hit off of the, astronomical levels across the board that they were all trading at. eBay is really interesting, Ben, because after, being down where it was in March to the highs that it hit in July, okay, traders look for a technical level called a 50% retracement, which we are almost there right now, off of the top. That 43 and a half level would be the average, the midline between the bottom it traded in March, the top it traded in July. That is a level that if it hit back down there, you're going to see a lot of buying come into this name here. That's a level I'm watching at. And if it does trade down to 43 and a half area, I will be in on that buy side as well.
Can we pull up my weekly chart here? Because I just pulled a look back, a little bit of a step back. I always say when in doubt, zoom out here, Scott. That coincides with a couple Key levels, when you look at it, for the most part, a nice little range that they established back in March, February, March, the beginning of 2018, and the lower extreme of that coincides with the highs that they saw back in July before breaking down into those March lows that you just talked about. So they were able to break up above that. We saw the energy associated with that move through the middle of May. And again, this is an interesting pullback. Oftentimes we hear about how some of that prior resistance should become a current support. Anything specific here in terms of the other two names, Square and PayPal, relative to eBay?
Well, you know, again, fintech in general has been hit really badly. I like Square better than I like PayPal right now from a technical standpoint. Square, you know, after rising 7% a couple days ago, it's been hit and then some, giving all of that back. It was just upgraded again by Mizuho, but they have 200 times trailing earnings. I mean, trailing earnings, excuse me. Massive, massive number. However, it is coming down to that 50-day moving average, which is right around 140, which has been just a massive area of support for that stock. So watch that level right there. PayPal to me is a little bit different story. It's kind of in the middle of no man's land right here. And for a long time, PayPal and Square both traded kind of hand in hand. They've almost separated a little bit here, where I think Square, from a trading perspective, has a little bit of an advantage over PayPal.
All right, PayPal, Square, and eBay all gapping lower today, all coming off a bit from recent highs. A nice move, though, off the March lows, so maybe this is just a little consolidation up here. We'll continue to watch these names, Scott, as we continue to keep an eye on some of the midday movers. We appreciate you joining us to bring our attention to a few that you have your eye on. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Bauer is the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Scott, always a pleasure. Thanks again.